So moving along to a listener write-in. We don't usually do these on this show. So, am I the asshole for calling out my friend after she sent inappropriate messages in a group chat? I'll try to keep this as short as possible. A few months ago, my friend, 27 female, was sending ass pictures and selfies in her bra to a group chat we made. This group chat mainly consisted of guys, so I understand why she would send those pictures. I always thought she was trying to get a certain someone's attention and didn't think too much of it. She's always been very comfortable with sharing her sexual life, and I was just used to her behavior and self-expression. Well, one day, she started to send extremely detailed messages about her sexual desires and talking about how horny she was. The guys didn't really say much besides replying with laughing emojis and making fun of her. The more they ignored and avoided her, the more explicit she got.
This is super interesting.
Finally, a couple of the guys, including my boyfriend, who's in the group chat, messaged me privately expressing how uncomfortable they were. Mind you, most of these guys are in relationships or married with kids.
What the hell is this girl doing?
They've never really had a problem with her self-expression before, since they usually always just ignored her. But the way she was expressing herself that night was more than enough to make them take a step back. So I took it upon myself to reply to her and say, "Hey, don't you have someone else to talk to this about?" And she very quickly said no and continued to babble about the same things. Nope, move along. Then I messaged her privately and told her she was taking things too far and was making me and my boyfriend uncomfortable. I didn't want to throw everyone else under the bus and asked if she could stop or simply change the subject. She left me on read and left the group chat without saying anything else. We didn't speak for a few weeks after this, and when she finally called me and sort of just swept it under the rug, she asked, "So, is the group chat boring now that I'm gone? We all know I'm the only girl that made things fun in there." Which obviously annoyed me since I was the only other girl in there.
You're kidding me. What the hell? Oh my God.
And it felt like a jab at me. It was, sweetie. It was.
I think a lot of these like pick me situations are kind of like, like could it be? But like
this one's clear,
like, very blatant.
I ignored her comment and just said things were normal and fine without her. We never touched the subject again. I was told by one of the guys that she was calling me a party pooper and that I should have been the one to leave since I was so uncomfortable, and that she can't help it that she's so sexual. Does it make me an asshole for setting boundaries? Should I have kept my mouth shut?
No, not at all. That is wild, especially like if it was a group of, they were all single in there and it's just kind of like,
That's one thing.
Yeah, and they just kind of like, you know, shoot the shit with each other, whatever. But the fact that they all are in relationships and she's
married with kids?
Yeah, and that she's just actively like screaming for attention.
Very clearly needs a hug or an orgasm.
I mean,
she needs a good dick down.
I feel like she probably does that. Yeah.
She gets it.
You know, if you're that explicit, like, and like, you, or like if you're that open about your wants and your needs, I feel like she could figure out how to get that real quick.
Or are you putting on a show? I had this friend and you know her. Mm-hmm. I'm no longer friends with this person.
Okay.
It's one of the toxic friendships I talked about where she like put my other friend's phone in a man's coat at his house to like keep her from talking to me.
That was so crazy.
She tried to get me kicked off my spring break trip that I invited her to.
Mm-hmm.
She texted my boyfriend while I was on this spring break trip with her and my other college friends, mind you, like most of which were my roommates. And she texted my boyfriend and told him I cheated on him. Did not happen. Like, was the worst experience of my life. I literally flew from, I was already planning this to fly from like Florida where we were for spring break up to Canada where he was. She fucking texted him while I was on spring break and told him Morgan cheated on you. I fucking slept in a bed and ate Hot Pockets. I didn't do shit.
Yeah.
I didn't do shit. And so I'm like about to go to Canada. The whole like 4 days leading up, he doesn't text me back. Don't know what the fuck to do. I get on a plane. I'm in Canada, sitting at the airport for like 4 hours. And I'm like,
Oh my God.
I'm in fucking Edmonton.
He didn't respond to you when you got on before you got on the flight?
No, I had no idea.
I had
no idea what was going on.
Because I was on that trip too.
And like there was something where I couldn't ride home back in the car because like someone else was or something. There wasn't room or something. I don't know. But I was like, I got to go to Canada. Like this is the plan. Like, I don't know. And my boyfriend was also shitty. Like he would go off the map, but like bad friend, like definition of a pick me girl. And I don't know how it took me so long to see it. She did shit that like wasn't just at her own detriment. It like fucked with me and other people she was friends with. And so I look at this situation that the listener wrote in about, and this was that friend I had. Anytime we were in a group situation hanging out with guys, anytime, without fail, she would talk about how much she loved getting eaten out. I
didn't know that she did that.
I just love getting my bin mucked. I just
she said love it that way because she was talking to hockey dudes.
She wanted a hockey husband so bad.
Like, does she get it? No. Do we know what she's doing now?
I don't think so.
She's listening right now.
If you're out there, I hope you've grown. Because that was a shitty friendship. And it was just crazy. It was crazy because like, it was kind of like this where this person's like flipping it around on our listener being like, must be boring in there now that I'm gone. I know no other girls. We're fun. Well, listener's the only girl. Like she would do that shit to me. She'd be like, I feel like you're always competing with me.
She was definitely always competing with you. That's why like she always wanted to win over all of your friends that you
introduced her to.
Yeah.
It was just crazy to me. And I literally
even me, I was never close with her. And I felt like she was always like trying to be nicer to me than she would even be to you.
Literally. And I literally broke down crying one night because she was like, I just feel like you're always competing with me. And I'm like, I almost said her name. I'm like, I'm not competing with you. You are literally competing with yourself and everyone else. Like you're doing this to yourself. Yeah. I was like, I don't give a fuck about who you're going after. And literally, like, we were talking about this the other day where there was a guy that I used to see, and somehow one of our friends, this is how small this world is, you guys. I dated this guy in Duluth, Minnesota when he played, like, junior hockey. And then I hung out with him in Minneapolis when I moved there for school, and he lived down there, like, whatever. I brought this friend of mine that we're talking about, same friend, onto his boat one day. And I had just told her like 5 minutes before we got on the boat, like we were in the car going there. And I was like, I have a big crush on him. I like him. Or like whatever I said to you. Mm-hmm. And then immediately after she's all over him. Mm-hmm. Don't be friends with people that do this shit to you.
Yeah, I was never a huge fan. Even when you liked her, I was like,
you know, sometimes we're just naive and we're friends with people that aren't good friends to us. And it takes some growing, and this is why I have great experience now to talk about a shit friend on a podcast.
Now you have a podcast. Thank you, ex-friend.
Yeah, fuck. Drove me to the brink of disaster.
Push me to the edge.
Now give me good content. Crazy bitch.